Yep, it broke. Had to make myself a cup of yogurt to tell you guys a story. So before we start the story, I got the mass airflow sensor here, ordered it from Amazon. I really just needed the base. Believe this is from like a Lincoln Navigator or something like that, but I could be wrong. I think that's what it was. I had to go back on Amazon, but I just wanted the housing for the intake because this was the part that kind of broke off here. If we got to look at it, this is kind of the part that broke off here. That was not a ghost, by the way, that was the AC. This is the part that broke off here, and I had to JB glue it, JB weld it back, so got the housing just in case, but we are gonna put this new one in. So, I don't wanna say I screwed up, but the motor, I'm not gonna tell you that. You guys are gonna have to go to the end of the video whether the motor's bad or it's good, but this is what happened. Tell your story real quick. It's just the reason is that I started working on the car, and I never did a proper intro into the video. So, this is what's happening. Drove the car down on Monday to the muffler shop. On the way to the muffler shop, got to the red light, car shut off. And I said, okay, what's going on here? When I turned it back on, head was making a noise. Head lifters were going crazy, head was making a noise. Went back home, drove it for about 5 blocks. Got back home, my boy Sergio came over, checked on the car, we put the computer, no codes on it. Just some stupid 2 oxygen sensor codes or something like that. Nothing out of the ordinary. Really couldn't find anything other than the car, when it would start to build up temperature, it would make the noise on the head. So I said either I overheated and I blew the head gasket, or the motor's toasted and I blew it. I'm here calling for motors and all these quotes and stuff like that. I called Lujan. We made all this craziness for looking for a motor because I thought the motor was really toasted. So at night, you know, I kind of stayed down, kind of relaxed, calm, and I started looking into the motor, noticed the reservoir was completely empty, and I said, okay, I now get the story. I ran the motor hot for 4 or 5 blocks, which was horrible. Come to later find out there was a little bit of coolant left. I freaked out because I thought I ran it hot and I blew the head. Come to find out there was a little bit of coolant left. But since the reservoir is on top of the Mustang and that's kind of empty, there's really much, but there really much isn't that much water. But when I pulled out the radiator hoses, there was a little bit of coolant left. Now, I've had to order a bunch of stuff. From checking the reservoir coolant, water, and noticing that was empty, and troubleshooting everything, I've come to find out that the radiator fan wasn't working, the resistor on the radiator fan was toasted, the car was leaking water from the bottom radiator hose going into the engine, and the thermostat wasn't opening up. It was a ticking time bomb for a disaster, but I caught everything early, and I believe you guys are gonna have to go into the end of the video and see if I did or not. Bought a bunch of stuff, bought the radiator fan, bought the coolant hoses, bought the thermostat. I did a coolant temperature sensor, I did the whole ordeal. And it was kind of my fault because I really didn't check it. I did an oil change, I did a starter change, but I never really checked if the car was leaking any water. When I did put it on the plant, on the lift, I call it the plant, on the lift, I noticed that there wasn't any oil leak or any coolant leak, so I really didn't pay attention to any of that. Hence, where everything kind of went sour. So, we're gonna go ahead and start the video. This was just the intro for you guys, and you guys can go ahead and check out everything I've done to the car. And stay tuned to the end of the video so you guys can see if I saved the motor or not, because, I don't know, just kind of look at it. Your boy is in, let's go. Let's start the video. Alright, so I'm gonna head over to the auto parts. As you guys see, I made a hell of a mess because I leaked all the radiator fluid. Just washed it down, make sure the dog doesn't drink any of it. But I removed the 3, I would say the T, and none of them are actually broken. It was leaking from this one, but I think it's because the clamp was actually in the tip and it was making a leak. But since it's already out, just gonna go ahead and replace everything. I'm gonna head over to the auto parts. I gotta pick up the fluids for the radiator, the antifreeze, and I gotta make sure I get all 3 of them. And I was kind of looking at the T, making sure that the plastic is not broken, because these plastic are not an investment. I've dealt with this before in previous years, and I know they're not the best quality. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to the auto parts, grab their stuff, grab the antifreeze, and I'm waiting for the fan to arrive. It should be on the way with a new coolant temperature sensor, and we should have no problem anymore. All right, boys, just came back from the auto parts. Got the hose, got 50-50 Fram coolant. I believe Ford tells you to use 50-50, so I got 50-50 coolant from Fram. I got the hoses already. I'm actually gonna keep the other hoses because it's got the middle plastic kind of like T, which who knows in the future if I ever need to use it, but I'm definitely gonna keep it. So got the coolant, got the hoses. Fan should be arriving any minute with the coolant temperature sensor. So let's go ahead and put everything back and let's get her started. Crossing fingers everything is good, and let's continue. The fan is almost getting ready to come out, so I disconnected both of the batteries, and I've been working on this fuse box because as you can see here that these both connectors go here. This is actually bended. It's actually bent, if you can see there, and I gotta bend it back now the other way because look at the fuse box, how open it is. So it took me a while to get it out of there, but finally did. I'm gonna continue working on it. Eventually I have to replace that. And yeah, now the hard part is that bottom hose, that it becomes a pain in the behind. I opted out for getting these Smart Seal new clamps that I don't know if they've been out, but I've never seen them. If they just got released, but I've never seen them. I'm going to be using this one. I got the hose here. As you guys can see, this is the one that has the tree, the little T on it. I didn't even know Auto Parts sells the whole thing complete. So we're going to go ahead and use those clamps. I'm going to go ahead and install it. And hopefully that stops the leak. So let's get it cracking. All right, boys. Just took a little break to grab a little snack. As you can see, the hose there, it's a little bit longer than what it originally is. Obviously this is aftermarket. This one is from Delco. I don't even know if Delco is the one that runs the hoses for Ford, but anyways, this one from Delco is a little long, so there's a little kink. I have to give it a cut, so got a razor blade to give it some cuts. Just take off like maybe half an inch or so. All right, boys, so she's been running for like 2 days now. Reservoir was empty today. For the past 2 days, it was going just a little bit down, but it's empty today. So I'm removing the thermostat, and look at the bolts on the thermostat. These were pretty, I would just say that the thermostat has never been removed on this car. So I'm gonna replace the thermostat, refill what's left, bleed it, and I got a compression tester coming in on Saturday that should tell me if the heads are gone and how well this motor is. All right. I know you like them steady hands. You see that? Not a single spill around here. But anyways, thermostat is on. This is on. I'm going to turn it on now. Make sure that the fan's turning on. Hopefully the thermostat is opening up. But I'm looking at the water pump. It looks to me like it's never been done. I don't know. I got to check it out. But anyways, let's continue. All right, boys. Have I said how much I love this lens? I think I've said it like a million times. Anyways, so yeah, for now the car is running great. The change of the, as you guys saw, changed the thermostat. So what I noticed when I showed you guys was that small hose was kind of leaking. So I had been checking the reservoir for like 2 days, yesterday, the day before, and I checked it today. When I looked at it today, it's when I noticed that it was completely empty, because I took it out yesterday to go get some Mexican food, and I guess once it builds pressure, it starts kind of releasing everything. But it took me like a good half an hour for me to wait and see it, because like I said, I had to wait for it to build pressure. So I think for now we should be good to go. The car is running perfect. It's idling perfect. Just kind of keep my eye on the coolant system. But other than that, I know down the line for future videos and future things I got to do to that car. Eventually that car is going to have to get a new motor, even though that V8 is running very strong and idling perfect. Eventually it's going to have to get a new motor, but God, you know, God willingly it could continue for a long time because it's running strong and it's running great. But I know down the line it's definitely going to need one. So I'll see you guys on the next one. If you guys are liking the Mustang content, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button. Let's see if we can get this video to 50 likes. I've been trying to say, let's get the videos to 50 likes, and I still haven't seen it happen. So we'll continue to say a video to 50 likes. I'll see you guys on the next one, and your boy is out.